Rituel de Fille is doing their big Black Friday event. I look forward to this so much every year. They do their best savings and they have this really cool 5-tier gift with purchase. And those are the products that I have in front of me here. These are all brand new shades, and if you spend $50, you get a free Hemlock lip sheer. If you spend $100, you get a free Snowdrop Color Nectar pigment balm. At $150, you get a Thorn Peptide lip oil. At $200, you get one of their Rare Light Cream Luminizers. And at $250, you get the eye gloss. And the gift with purchase is each of these 5 shades at those tiers that I named. These shades are also available to purchase individually. Now, these are limited edition shades, but in my experience, if they're very popular and there's a high demand, sometimes they come back for either a limited run or they become part of the permanent lineup. At this time last year, I actually did the full 5 tiers so that I could get all 5 products, and some of those have really remained some of my top products from the brand. The entire site is also going to be 20% off. I have a code that you can use in place of the default one, which does save you the exact same percentage, and it allows me to earn a small commission and tell the brand that my content was helpful for you. This code is customized for Black Friday and is popped up on the screen now. Let's dive into swatches, demos, and a wear test. First, we have Snowdrop. This is a Color Nectar pigment balm, and it's described as a cold, soft cherry blossom pink. These are multi-use pigments. Most often I use them as blushes, but of course they can be used on the eyes and the lips. That's something I've really come to appreciate about all of the Rituel de Fille products, is how multi-use they are and how well they function on different areas of the face. And I would describe this as a really beautiful winter toned blush. Next, we have the shade Apparition, and this is a Rare Light Cream Luminizer. I've talked about these many times because I absolutely love them. These are pure glow highlighters without sparkle. I find them approachable, day-to-day friendly, yes, even the brighter shades, because the texture allows them to be. This shade is described as a fuchsia flash. I love the way this looks on the skin, and I feel like it's unique in my collection of Rare Light Cream Luminizers. I did try on a bunch of my other shades, so I'm going to go ahead and link that video in the cards. Okay, next we have one of the Enchanted lip shears, and this is a very interesting lip formula. Unlike really any other that I've tried, it's kind of like a lip balm lipstick hybrid, but a little bit more pigmented than a typical lip balm, and it doesn't have as glossy of a finish. This shade is described as an obsidian purple, and it's a beautiful deep dark moody purple, and this shade is very pigmented. Next, we have a Thorn Peptide lip oil, and this is in the shade Midnight Glow. This has to be one of my favorite shades in this range that they've come out with because it's a beautiful, almost like a neutrals with a twist. It's got a red-brown base, and it has this kind of bluish green shimmer throughout. It's a day-to-day shade while still giving a little bit of moodiness and depth. And I gotta say, I get a decent wear time with these lip oils, but I'm gonna talk more about that when I do my wear test. And last but not least, we have a Celestial Sphere eye gloss, and this is the shade Crux, which is described as a sparkly, metallic, grungy silver. I definitely feel like I'm intimidated of eyeglosses, but you just can't deny the sparkle and the shine that you get with these, and I'm excited to give them a go on a wear test. And here's what all 5 limited edition shades look like swatched on my arm. All of my labels are from the wrist down. And what I love about seeing these shades is the color story that they create all together. Okay, let's get into doing a full face of Rituel de Fille with a wear test. And I am going to incorporate some other products that I've come to know and love. All right, and we are going to dive right into doing a full face of Rituel de Fille with a special spotlight on all of the new products that are launching as a part of Black Friday. So I have a bare face. I've just done skin prep and put on my SPF. And then I am going to start off with Creature of Light, and this is in the shade Angelic Creature. And I am going to use the foundation because I'm actually a huge fan of the three drop serum foundation, and we're going to do a wear test. So I'm excited about that. My skin does get glowy, so I'm just going to focus on the areas that I want maybe extra glow, which is, you know, my cheekbones in particular. I know that, you know, you can use this product all over your face, but like I said, I can get pretty glowy and dewy. I think that this shade in particular is quite flattering on, you know, on medium skin tones, and really can give that lit from within. I feel like this is also the type of product that would be super pretty all on its own if you weren't doing any complexion or anything else. And now we're going to go into the 3 serum foundation. When they say you only need 3 drops of this, they mean it. So usually what I do is, and by the way, I'm shade 165, which I think is a really good match for me. You just press on the bottom. I'm going to put 3 drops on the back of my hand just so I'm very sure that I don't use more than that. And honestly, I think the best way to apply a foundation like this is with your fingers. It's very kind of watery, but extremely good coverage. Like, that's what surprised me. I feel like for foundations that are this kind of watery, I typically think that they're not going to be as high coverage, but that is not the case. And here is what my skin is looking like after the 3 dot foundation. Absolutely beautiful coverage, but looks very natural and skin-like. So then we're gonna go ahead and dip into one of the new products that is launching on Friday. So starting off with the blush. This is Snowdrop. And I am just going to go ahead and dip into it with my fingertips, and then I'm going to blend it in maybe a little bit better with a brush. It's a beautiful kind of mid-toned pink shade. And something that I really like is that I feel like this, you know, there is a color scheme for all of the products that are launching as part of Black Friday. They all go, I think, really well together. And this formula is one that I'm very familiar with. It's definitely one that I have been using for a while and come to really enjoy it. And all of their products, a lot of their cream products are multi-use. So you can use this, you know, on the lips, even on the eyes. And in my experience, I did a wear test with their cream products on the eyes, and I was quite happy with how it lasted. So this is what my blush is looking like, a beautiful kind of winter toned pink shade. Now we have the shade Apparition in their Rare Light Cream Luminizer. You all probably already know how much I love this formula. I've talked about it quite a bit. Basically, these are pure glow without sparkle. So if you want a glowy highlight, but without the sparkle, and this is described as an iridescent fuchsia. So a beautiful pink iridescent highlighter, and I'm just gonna put it on the top of my cheekbones and just get a little bit closer so that you can see it. Put it on the other cheekbone. I think I am gonna put it on, you know, the inner corners of my eyes, but after I do my eyeshadow look. For my eyeshadow look, I'm actually going to start off with this cream contour in the shade Definition. This is one of the new shades that launched this year, and, and you get a beautiful range with these contours, and I really like using them on the eyes. So I'm just going to use this to create a halo on my eyes, and then in the center of my lid, I'm going to add that new eyeshadow shade. Popping a little bit on the lower lash line as well, creating that same shape. All right, I did the same thing on the other eye, and now we're gonna dip into the shade Crux. And this is an eye gloss, so you know there will be probably some creasing with this one, but I really want to do not only an application but a wear test, because I feel like that's, you know, that is important for the eye glosses. I do expect that I'm gonna have to pat this out a little bit as it creases, but we are gonna give it a go because it's been a while since I've tried this formula and I'm excited. So I'm gonna put it into the center of the lid. Really pretty shade, cool toned, just like all the other products that I've put on my face so far. And just has a beautiful glow and sparkle. And I am just gonna put it on the lid and not on the lower lash line. Here is what it looks like fully applied. And now we are gonna go ahead and try on these lip products. So I'm gonna try them on by themselves, although you can layer these two. So you can wear the lip sheer underneath the Thorn Peptide lip oil. But I just want to show what they look like on their own. So first I'm gonna try on this lip sheer. It's a beautiful kind of, it's described as an obsidian purple. It's called Hemlock, and it's actually extremely pigmented. I wanna say it's the most pigmented lip sheer I've tried from Rituel de Fille. Look at that on one swipe. Here is what the shade Hemlock looks like fully applied. And you can imagine, like, I've worn this as basically one layer, and you can get a complete full opacity with this shade. Now we're gonna put on Midnight Glow, and this is described as being a rust red base with, I would describe it as having kind of blue-green shimmer throughout. So it has a beautiful duochrome effect on the lips. Here is what it looks like fully applied. And a little bit closer, just so you can see what those sparkles look like. All right, I went ahead and finished up my look with some mascara, some eyeliner, and a little bit of setting spray. So we're gonna come back after my wear test. All right, I had my makeup on for 11 hours, so I think it's been sufficient time to be able to come back and tell you how my makeup wore. First things first, I am very pleasantly surprised at how this eye gloss has worn. I tried these several years ago, and I want to say that this was not the same experience that I had, and it makes me want to come back and maybe try a couple of other shades. So just to kind of come in a little bit closer, I haven't done any touch-ups except for I reapplied the gloss. But other than that, nothing. And so you can see here, I have a little bit of creasing, which I would expect, but like I said, like it's still very much on my eyes. I love this shade and the wet look that it gives my eyes, the sparkle. And I just want to show you, you know, as you probably know, you can kind of pat this out with your finger, which I think, you know, honestly for me, given how well this is worn for 11 hours without any touch-ups, I think for me that makes it worth it. And you do get a kind of extra sparkle and shine with the eyeglosses that you just can't get with the eye sots. I really like the eye sots. My favorite shade being Cultist. I think that's the one that's a sparkly charcoal, and in my experience it's the sparkliest one that they have in the line. But I definitely am, you know, keen to maybe try maybe one more shade, which I might pick up during the sale. So very happy with that, and pleasantly surprised with the eye gloss. Then, you know, the blush still very much there. Same with the highlight. Obviously, I've become dewier throughout the day, as I tend to do. But also my base looks really nice. It's not my first time with the foundation. I have definitely used and loved on that foundation quite a bit, but this is the first time that I've done a formal wear test. So, you know, I just want to show you that that 3-drop foundation is a really big hit for me, and I think it wears beautifully. I've had it on for 11 hours. I still feel like I have a really nice coverage. I didn't do anything special in terms of, I didn't add concealer. The only thing I used was the Danessa Myricks setting spray. So very, very pleased with how that did. And then the last thing I wanted to comment on was how the Thornbite Peptide Plump lip oil wore. And again, I've tried this formula. It's always hard for me to forget the full name of it because it's long, but I've tried this formula before. The shade is brand new to me. This is the Midnight Glow limited edition shade. I honestly think this is probably my favorite shade that they've done. They have some really beautiful deep shades and, you know, a lot of other shades in this line, but for some reason it's something about the sparkle in this one and the base on me that I love, and it's a shade that I am definitely going to use on a day-to-day basis. So, you know, it's not meant to be incredibly long wearing because it still is kind of like a gloss or a lip oil. However, it did last for several hours, and beyond me just being able to have a couple of beverages. And as it kind of wore away, I still had a beautiful pigment on my lips. So definitely I feel like has a better lasting power than a lot of other products like this. So my closing thoughts are, I've talked about Rituel de Fille in several other videos this year and talked about some of my favorites, but just to recap, I've tried a lot of products from the brand, not everything. My own personal favorites are, my hits are definitely the lip products, the lip sheers and the lip oils, the cream blushes, and the contours, which came out this year. I today used one of the deeper contours as an eyeshadow. It wore beautifully. I actually forgot to mention how it wore, but I think it wore really well. And those are multi-use pigments, so you can use them as contours, but you can use them all over the face. And of course, I can't forget to mention the Rare Light Cream Luminizers. I love these highlighters for being pure glow and, you know, without sparkle, perfect for everyday, day-to-day life if you don't want to wear sparkle on your face. And something I really love is that these highlighters come in a beautiful variety of shades, not just neutral tones, but they have, you know, blue, they have purple, they've got, you know, just really interesting shades that you don't see in other brands, and I really appreciate that. And then the last thing is, of course, I mentioned the eye sets. I feel like I'm still pretty new to the eye glosses, so of course, you know, I have to play around with the one that I have more, but I gotta say, I am interested to pick up another shade or two of the eyegloss during the sale. So with all that said, I would love to hear what you think of these Black Friday new products in the comments. I would also love to hear what products you love from the brand, if you've tried the brand before, if you're keen to try them, and what you have on your wish list. As always, I really hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.